Miller, Manhattan Institute fellow, Newsmax contributor. Welcome back. It's been a long time.
Right, Steve. How are you?
Good. Well, at least I thank you for coming back. You said we would talk about it after the fact, and here we are. All right, so your impressions from yesterday. You know, the Democrats have said there was absolutely nothing new, which is a nice classic line that it's it's old news kind of line. And yet I felt that there were many revelations and lots of emotional testimony that if this had been a Republican president, we'd be demanding answers and talking impeachment in the media in the House.
Well, I don't think I'd join you on the talking impeachment part. I think the hearing was truly, I agree with you on this, truly dramatic. And we had a recitation of what happened on the ground in Libya for the first time from someone who was actually involved in it. It was very moving. It was very stirring. And yes, it did provide some very important information that at least I didn't know before. But I'm not sure that it did what the Republican champions said it was going to do. I don't think it changes. I don't think it's worse than Watergate. I don't think it impeaches the administration. I think it raises questions about what the administration did after the fact, primarily after the fact. And this is also what Dana Milbank thought in the Washington Post, is that, you have a situation now where we have competing claims about what might have been done and could have been done, but we have ever more questions about what was said about what happened in Benghazi by this administration after the fact.
Well, Watergate was after the fact. Watergate was the cover-up.
That's right, the cover-up. Exactly right. But I don't think that anybody's suggesting, for example, you had three witnesses, only one of whom was really a military person. He was the one who said that there were at least 2 stand-down orders, but I don't think he did not challenge. He didn't challenge his superiors' notion that they couldn't have gotten military reinforcements there in time to make a difference at the annex. He didn't contradict that.
Well, how about could we play any cuts? Could we play 35? This is Greg Hicks talking about what he was told when Congressman Chaffetz was coming to interview him and go on a fact-finding mission and find out what happened. Here's cut number 35.
I was instructed not to allow the RSO, the acting deputy chief of mission, and myself to be personally interviewed by Congressman Chaffetz.
So the people at State told you don't talk to the guy who's coming to investigate?
Yes, sir.
Said don't talk with the congressman? Now you've had several congressional delegations come to various places you've been around the world. Has that ever happened where lawyers get on the phone to you prior to a congressional delegation coming to investigate a time when we've had 4 Americans lose their lives? Have you ever had anyone tell you, don't talk with the people from Congress coming to find out what took place?
Never.
All right. I mean, isn't that huge?
It is very important, and as I said, the questions that have been raised go to the issue of what the administration did and said after the event. I think you have to look at this, Steve, in 2 ways. One, was the administration in a position to do more than it did to save American lives? That's, question number 1. And I don't think we have a lot of new information about that or anything that really contradicts the administration statement. But you're right. The area of vulnerability is the second issue, which is what did they call what happened on the ground in Libya? And clearly we had 3 very powerful witnesses who said in different ways that what the administration called it and what they attributed it to was not right. We had Greg Hicks saying his jaw dropped, when he heard Susan Rice's statement that it was a spontaneous protest spurred on by the videotape. We have also this amazing clip that you've just broadcast where we literally have Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, Cheryl Mills, instructing State Department officials not to talk to Congress. That is really, really bad, and she is going to have some explaining to do. We also have other questions that are really on my mind. Why did the Accountability Review Board not feel that it was important to talk to Hillary Clinton, especially now, given what we know about her chief of staff? But secondly, why did the acting Assistant Secretary of State from the Middle East, Beth Jones, say, drop this line of questioning when one of the three witnesses had the bad judgment to say, oh, by the way, why is Susan Rice and why are the other administration officials talking about this as a result of a spontaneous result because of a protest? So, we have.
Well, he also claims he got demoted because of that.
That's right. That's a witness intimidation. Is a really serious charge. So we have new questions raised, and I don't think that Benghazi dies here because of what happened yesterday. On the other hand, I don't think it's as yet what the Republicans portrayed this yesterday session as
okay,
being.
well, let's go to another one. This is cut 55,
right.
And this will be, if I could get my notes together, this will be Gregory Hicks talking to Congressman Blake Farenthold, talking about the group that was hired by the State Department to guard the mission prior to the attack, and here's what they said.
And Mr. Hicks, you were in Libya on the night of the attack. Do you believe the February 17th militia played a role in those attacks, was complacent in those attacks?
Certainly elements of that militia were complicit in the attacks. The attackers had to make a long approach march through multiple checkpoints that were manned by February 17 militia.
All right, now, okay, Mr. Hicks, Mr. Nordstrom, I'm going to ask you both this question. I'm stunned that the State Department was relying on a militia.
Okay, there was more to that, I think, but anyway,
right.
They hired this group with Al Qaeda. If you went on their website, you saw they had the Al Qaeda flag on their website. I mean, so this does talk about culpability prior, just in that regard.
Well, not really, because these decisions are partly influenced by the opinion of the embassy and Christopher Stevens, the ambassador on the ground, and Christopher Stevens was working with this militia. So I don't think once again, I think we just have questions there rather than something that you can condemn the administration over. You can say they were insufficiently informed. You could say that this particular branch of that militia was, the ambassador had confidence in them. I think, once again, the more I listened to yesterday, Steve, the more I wondered about the ambassador's judgment. And I hate to, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, and he's a terrifically brave, courageous Foreign Service officer. But, the ambassadors have a lot of leeway in terms of where they go and how many security people they bring with them.
Well, wait a minute. The ambassador requested more security, and the State Department turned him down.
Yes,
so that's more
but
culpability.
We knew that before.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be ignored now.
What I'm asking about is what we know from yesterday that we didn't know before.
All right, but you don't leave that out. It's such a big, important piece.
I'm not
just
leaving
because,
it out. I'm just saying that there are many instances in which ambassadors make decisions that perhaps even the Home Office wouldn't have liked. But there was no doubt that they had a security problem there, that they had inadequate security. The mission itself, the embassy had sent many requests. We know that. But I don't think yesterday's hearing was particularly illuminating about that. I mean, what I found really stunning was that when Greg Hicks said that there was no report of a protest from the embassy that was ever filed, you have to ask yourself, how is it then that the head of intelligence for the United States can say that that decision, that statement, was based on the, quote, the best collective intelligence we had at the time?
Right.
How is that possible?
Absolutely. We're talking to Judy Miller here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I got one more for you. Hillary Clinton, who, when the bodies were coming home, she was talking about the video. And I have it to play. We won't play it now, but the video, which again, I'm ticked off. Nobody brings this up, and they should play it, that they spent money to air on Pakistani TV, Hillary and Obama apologizing for the video like a week after the attack still, and saying, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're sorry. We apologize, as if that had anything to do with anything. But Hillary, as it turns out, who claimed, not to be, she didn't know it wasn't a protest. How should she know? She was on the phone with the consulate, at 2 a.m. the night of the attack. She was getting firsthand information.
Right. That's something we didn't know, at least I didn't know before. Another interesting assertion was...
No, but don't gloss over that. I mean, that's huge. She should be asked about this.
But we don't... that's why I brought up earlier the fact that the Accountability Review Board did not interview her.
Right.
And how is it? I'm still left with this overall question in my mind about that panel, and I have great respect for the men who led it, Tom Pickering and Mullins, but how is it that you can talk about systemic failure of management and leadership and say that stops at the assistant secretary level? What is that about?
Yep.
I mean, I think that document has got to be released, or part of it, most of it, and the American people just need to know what happened there.
All right, so what would you like? Would you like to see a select committee from Boehner, which he didn't say he would do today, or he didn't say he wouldn't, but he didn't call for one? How would you like to see this progress?
Well, I want to see it progress in a way that's going to produce the most reliable information for the American people, and I'm not sure whether a select committee is the best way to do that. And I think that if Boehner was persuaded by what he heard yesterday that he could get that through Congress, he would do it. I think the fact that he is hesitating and is not yet calling for one, tells you something about what didn't happen at the hearing yesterday.
All right, fair enough. Listen, I really appreciate talking to you about this, and I thank you.
Always interesting to talk to you because you know what you're talking about.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot. Thank you, Judy.
Okay.
Judy Miller, ladies and gentlemen, Manhattan Institute fellow and Newsmax contributor, and very complimentary to me, which I always appreciate. All right, look, we don't agree on everything, but the points that I brought up and points she brought up, these are unanswered questions.